Today marks the first update of 2024 and Jagex is coming in hot with an event you don't want to miss. Whenever you're ready, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax, and enjoy. To celebrate Runescape's recent birthday, there's an event with some super juicy buffs for players to enjoy. This event is called the Birthday Buff Bonanza and will be available until January the 21st. The event buffs are spectacular, but the event itself is quite simple. Every single day you'll be able to choose between 3 different buffs, and let me tell you, these buffs are chunky. The buffs last a total of 2 hours when picked and cannot be refunded. If you log out or go to the lobby, the buff timer will actually be paused so you can take breaks if required. If the buff happens to carry over to the next day time-wise, you can still use it. However, if you log out during the next day, that initial buff will be gone as you can pick a new one. So no stacking for min-maxers. Free-to-play and Iron Man players cannot use these buffs, but can still progress towards the event cosmetic, which is the fancy hat and a retro version of it. This hat can be obtained by logging in and activating the buffs 8 times. Again, to clarify, this is also still the case for free-to-play and Iron Man players, except the buff simply won't work. While there is a novelty factor to adding a fancy hat to the game because fancy boots nostalgia, I do find it hard to like items with so many colors as you can't really fit them in with any outfit. Although I'm sure that certain communities will like this item a lot. For those of you who are unable to log in but really want this item, you might be able to get it in the future through Premier Club tokens or a similar event, although I wouldn't count on it, so if you really want it, make sure you log in every single day for at least 8 days to get this item. Now, while I'm not interested in the hat at all, I'm very much interested in these buffs because, like I said, they're juicy. Today you'll have a choice out of 3 different buffs, which, I'll be honest, if you're skilling, the Efficient Gatherer one is the logical option, and if you're doing Slayer combat, not having Prayer Point Drain is amazing, so that's the option for you. I'll be honest, I don't really think that having no Cannonball Drain for 2 hours is too big of a deal. It'll save you a little bit of money, but that's about it. Tomorrow we'll have the choice between 50% extra Necromantic Ritual output, which is going to be good for money making, reducing the cooldown of Escape Surge Dive and Bladed Dive to 4.8 seconds. And that's going to be quite something for questing, clues, and possibly PVM. It might, it's going to be funny. It's going to be fun. I will be picking this. And the other one is that combat spells, teleports, and incantations don't require runes, although the amount of XP you gain from casting the spells is reduced by 90%. Not sure why they did that, because even if you're training for like teleportation, spamming a teleport, I don't think that's good XP nowadays. I could be wrong though. On January the 10th, players that are training thieving are going to have a field day because you can pick between pickpocketing never failing. That's going to be nice. 200% extra Artisan's Workshop respect. So if you're looking to get that auto restocking cannon perk, go ahead and do that on January the 10th. It's going to be much easier to get that over with. The final option doesn't really seem that good because extra adrenaline gain from basic abilities is nice, but if you have the Fear of the Small Relic power, it doesn't seem to stack. So it's... Actually, hold on, you could just switch around your relics for 2 hours, although questionably useful. On January the 11th, you can get 100% extra healing from food and potions. That is going to be nutty. If you're struggling with bossing, that's Zuck's going to be easy if you eat through supplies. Perhaps this is the day you try and get your hard mode cape. That is literally double the amount of food from food and potions. That's crazy. That's like having 2 inventories. If you're training archaeology, January the 11th might be a good idea as well. Or if you're looking to get Disruption Shield or Avenge Other, perhaps do some Livid Farm with that 300% produce points buff. On January the 12th, we have a couple of good buffs, but if I'm being entirely honest, you better pick 3 times the charm if you're training summoning to level 99 or 120, because that is absurd. You can train mining and smithing and the heat doesn't decrease, and that's nice for AFKing. You can train Slayer, get some more extra Slayer points, you have VIP tickets, that's nice, but it's just 2 hours. Getting 3 times the amount of charms for 2 hours is an insane summoning buff. If that stacks with any charm boosting items like the Charming Potion or the Familiarization buff, it's going to be absolutely nutty. Let's say it stacks additively with the Charming Potion and Charm Drop Enhancer, you'll be getting 7 charms per kill if the monster drops 1. Safe to say, Dagon Worlds are going to be packed because it doesn't work at the Arch Glacier, which is one of the main charm farming methods. On January the 13th, you have a choice between save deaths, which are always nice, 100% extra treasure trail points, so people doing clues are going to enjoy that one, or periodically getting rare items while training non-combat skills. Pretty sure that's the rare drop table, so that's probably not going to be a very significant buff. On January the 14th, we have 2 combat buffs. One is double enemy drops, which is going to be great for Slayer and bossing, assuming it works at every boss, and passive regeneration, which I don't really think is that useful, but hey, maybe it is for, let's say, Zuck, if you're waiting between waves. The skilling buff at first doesn't seem all that useful because you can save a bunch of resources by literally just training during double XP events. However, the 20% chance to double or produce double items when training cooking, herbal, or runecrafting is interesting. Because that is, 1, a moneymaker for runecrafting, and 2, for herbal if you're making overloads. That is nom nom. Very nice. On January the 15th, you have a choice between, again, the no rune cost spells and incantations, or basically divine charge galore, because you'll be getting 100% extra divine energy from the springs, and when converting memories to energy. Probably going to be quite useful for people farming their own divine charges, even though Iron Man cannot enjoy these buffs. I'm not really sure what the Ashes to Ashes buff is supposed to be, but all enemies will drop noted ashes on death when this buff is active. Okay. Yeah. Regarding the other 4 buffs that are left, which will be appearing on different days, getting extra Bird's Nest may be only useful if you're going for the Encampment Hatchet. The skilling one is probably, again, rare drop table items, which isn't going to be all that special. The Soul Catcher one, on the other hand, is very nice. If you're looking to fill up your personal and Slayer dungeon with some kind of creature you'd like to AFK, level 99 Slayer, this is the time to do it. I'm going to be using that buff for sure. And the last one is probably quite useful if you're doing a Slayer task that gives you a lot of experience per hour, but the task is very short, like farming Ripper Demons, or perhaps Moss Golems or something of the sort. It's not going to be as useful as you think at Creator Demon, Ash Lords, or Berserkers because the tasks already take very long. Overall, I'd say I'm quite satisfied with this simple event, and I like that there's 0 MTX involved. In other news, there's a brand new hard mode only crafting material being added to the Vorkath and Zemarigal drop table called a Vorkath Scale. This can now be used in addition to regular ancient scales and other materials to upgrade Dracolich armor from tier 90 to tier 92. Now there's some new information about Vorkath's drop tables, and if you aren't aware, normal caskets have 4 loot rolls and hard mode caskets have 8. That being said, if you get a rare roll, you can't get any other rares. It's worth noting that the new skill shares its drop position with the Codex in hard mode, and both are a 1 in 125, except you have a 50% chance to get either if you roll on that drop table. Now remember those Christmas cosmetics such as the peppermint outfit and combined scarf and all that? Well, you can now access them in your wardrobe as a cosmetic override. Now there's a bunch of little patches this week, but the ones worth mentioning are that you're now able to properly use your protein logs when throwing them on a bonfire, dungeoneering token boxes are no longer bankable, and players are no longer able to abuse the Scrimshaw Sacrifice bug or thing where they would activate it and deactivate it to gain drops as well as extra experience. If you're wondering about upcoming updates, well, there's no sign of a roadmap yet because the mods seem to be a little bit hesitant to speak about anything upcoming because their last roadmap had a sneaky little controversial blunder in it. But the Jagex Twitter did tweet out this tweet, although I'm not so sure these redacted announcements are anything RuneScape related, since they already list RuneScape and old school RuneScape announcements, aka updates. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. With that being said, we've come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like down below and maybe even consider subscribing, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.